Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing a VCT Americas season preview for the team Kru Esports. Kru last year has to be one of the most fascinating teams of the 2023 VCT. They came in with maybe not high expectations, but being one of the better Latin American teams and having success being a dark horse candidate to win international tournaments in the past, but never being able to get there or really reach what could be their full potential. They ended up having such an inconsistent and wildly different 2023 than I think anybody expected. And that is evident from their placements. In lock-in, they lose their only match. They place 17th to 32nd. And then in Americas, things were just disastrous during the regular season. They didn't win a single game. 10th, 0-9 record. Absolutely abysmal time to be a Kru Esports fan during that regular season. It was bad. But then, all of a sudden, they win the LCQ. They beat, I believe, Leviathan and Cloud9 to get there, and all of a sudden this team's in Champions, and then they lose the only two matches that they have in Champions, so it ended up being all for nothing. They placed 13th to 16th. So again, wildly inconsistent year, just results all over the place. So as an organization, what do you really do? Do you keep that same roster because they've shown that they can do stuff, but can't fully be consistent about it? So what they ended up going with was a couple changes. So players out are Nags, Axity, and of course, unfortunately, Davies did pass away during the offseason, so my condolences to family and friends of him. I thought about not putting him on the board, but I thought I would at least extend my condolences. And, you know, it is very unfortunate what happened. Players in are Shy and MTA. Shy did come over from Leviathan's roster, and MTA was a Tier 2 player in the Latin America Challengers League. Championships won by the Org 0. They haven't made it to a grand final. I think the closest they've gotten is Champions 2021, where they almost beat Gambit to move on to grand finals and face Ascend, but they did lose in a crazy overtime match. So that's one of the best matches I've ever seen in Valorant ever. For the 2023 MVP, I chose Kesnet. He had the best stats. He had really good stats on a team that just struggled at the entire year. So I did put him down. I don't know if there's going to be too much argument about that one. Moving on to the stats of each of these players. Klaus, he had 540 kills, 641 deaths, 360 assists for KD ratio of 0.84. He played Sova, Fade, and Sky, so an initiator player. Really bad numbers from Klaus last year, unfortunately, 0.84 as a KD ratio as an initiator. That's pretty bad. You definitely want that to be higher. So hopefully he finds a way to have a bounce back season because he's definitely better than these stats. Moving on to Kesnet, he had 746 kills, 642 deaths, 188 assists for a KD ratio of 1.16. He was a duelist player. He played Jet and Raze throughout the entire year, and he was very good in it. He's been known to be a very good duelist player, and him coming back to this roster after briefly being on Leviathan, I think was a good move because he just seems to fit in well with this organization. Moving on to their IGL and Melser, he had 592 kills, 636 deaths, 300 assists for a KD ratio of 0.93. He played Smokes, he played Omen, Astra, Viper, and Harbor. Decent Smokes player, not bad numbers for a controller main, so Melser's decent. Hopefully his IGLing definitely improves because they just weren't able to close out really close maps. I think they had the most close maps out of any team, so it wasn't even like they were particularly awful in every single match. They just couldn't find a way to close out maps, and that's just how it went, and that definitely lies on IGLing, so hopefully Melser is able to, figure out those kinks. Moving on to Shy, who comes over from Leviathan, being another player that has played for both organizations. He had 663 kills, 655 deaths, 250 assists for KD ratio of 1.01. He played Killjoy and Sky and had decent numbers on both characters, so he's able to be an initiator, Sentinel flex player, and maybe he extends his character list a little bit more this year on Kru Esports, but we'll see how it goes. He is a talented player. He should fit in well. He had good numbers. Moving on to MTA in Tier 2, he had 492 kills, 454 deaths, 83 assists for KD ratio of 1.08. On that Tier 2 roster, he played Jet and Ray, so he was a duelist player. I don't know if that's what he's going to be playing. This team might run some double duelist comps because Kesnet is their main duelist player, and that's where he's best, so I don't know if you want him to play other roles. So it might have to be MTA trying to figure out different roles. So it is an interesting addition because while he is talented, clearly he has good numbers. I don't know if he's particularly what this team needed. Overall, it's a solid roster. Nothing strikes me as fantastic about it, but they have players that have proven to be good in the past, but just unfortunately all struggled last year, aside from maybe MTA on Tier 2. Shy had a good year as well, and Kesnet was very good. but overall this team just couldn't seem to get maps closed out. That was their kryptonite, and they showed promise during LCQ, but then yet again fell short. So they need to find consistency. That is exactly what this team needs, because if they don't, it could go exactly like it did during the Americas regular season. Looking at their maps were not fantastic, but they did do decent on Ascent with a 6-5 record. Attack win percentage was 42, defense was 61. Bind was a 2-1 record, attack was 42%, defense was 66. So not bad numbers on defense there for those best maps, but really not great numbers on attack. You know, both of these maps, they were close in the records, but these are their two best maps. The worst maps, however, was a lot worse. Split 2-7 record with attack 50%, defense was 43. Pearl 2-5 record, 59% on attack, defense was 38. So pretty bad numbers overall there for the worst maps. Their map pool definitely was not very large last year. They don't need to worry about Pearl anymore, so that will be good for them, but they need to find a map that they're dominant on, that they can be able to just win most, if not all, matches on. So they definitely need to work on their map pool. Overall, it's a decent roster with some talented players, but they need to be able to find that consistency, as I said earlier. And if they don't, then it's just going to be another year of just crazy ups and downs for this team. I do think there is potential for them to be a dark horse to be at an international tournament. Maybe since the fact that they still have mostly the same roster from last year with a couple changes here and there. Maybe just the fact that they've been able to play together and have good chemistry. Maybe that works in their favor and they surprise some of the teams that have completely new rosters. There's been a lot of turnover in the Americas. There is definitely an opening for this team to perform well. They're just going to have to find a way to be able to be a consistent team with their performance. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think this team is going to surprise people? Are they going to be better than last year, or are they going to have another just disastrous year with some highs and some really, really low lows? Click like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.